All right, hello and welcome. You know that feeling when you're trying to manage a project and the standard playbook, waterfall, agile, you name it, just doesn't quite fit? Yeah, if you've been there, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're going to open up the advanced toolkit. We're talking about specialized and hybrid methods that are built for those really unique challenges you run into. So let's dive in.
Just so we're all on the same page, what you're about to hear is basically Chapter 4 from a 5-part course on project management methodologies by Virtualization Options LLC. So in the earlier parts, we looked at the big ones, right? Traditional, agile. But now we're getting into the really interesting stuff, the custom fit options for when the basics just don't cut it.
So here's what we've got on tap. We'll kick things off by talking about why those standard methods sometimes just fail. Then we'll dig into 3 really powerful tools for your kit. Lean for becoming super efficient, a thing called CPM AI for automation projects, and hybrid models, which are all about creating your own custom solution. And we'll wrap it all up with a practical guide to designing that perfect fit for your team.
Okay, so let's get right to it. Let's start with the problem that, let's be honest, every manager runs into sooner or later.
I mean, seriously, what do? You've tried running a project with Waterfall, you've given Scrum a shot, but your project is just different. It's got these unique constraints or a mix of requirements that don't make sense for one system. Or maybe your team just doesn't fit neatly into one of those perfect little boxes. And you know what? That is so common. Because let's be real, one size fits all almost never actually fits anyone perfectly.
So, the first special tool we're going to pull out of the box is Lean. If your biggest headache is inefficiency, constant delays, or a process that just feels bloated with extra steps, well, Lean was pretty much invented to solve that.
And the philosophy behind Lean is actually beautifully simple. It came out of Toyota's manufacturing system, and it's all about one thing and one thing only: finding and ruthlessly getting rid of anything that doesn't add value for your customer. It's all about making your entire process as smooth and efficient as humanly possible. And this isn't just some fuzzy concept. Lean gives you a super clear 5-step game plan. First, you figure out what your customer actually values. Then you map out every single step it takes to deliver that value. And I mean every step. After that, you work on making it a smooth flow, getting rid of bottlenecks. Then you set up a pull system, so you only work on what's needed right now. And finally, you never stop trying to make it better. It's a constant cycle of improvement. And this is where it gets really real, right? Waste in an office isn't about, throwing away paper. No, it's all that time your team is just sitting around, waiting for an approval. It's the mess and confusion that happens every time a project gets handed off between teams. It's building extra features that the customer literally never asked for and will never use. And oh my gosh, task switching, the killer of all productivity. These are the things that drain value. And Lean is basically the tool you use to go on a hunt and get rid of them. Okay, let's switch gears to our next tool. If Lean is about overall efficiency, CPMII is like a specialized scalpel for a very specific, very modern challenge: automation. So CPMAI, and I know it's a mouthful, is a framework built specifically for projects that use things like AI, machine learning, and what's called robotic process automation, or RPA. You can think of it as the instruction manual for your company's digital transformation. It gives you a really clear step-by-step path from, hey, we should automate this, all the way to having it up and running in your day-to-day work. So when do you actually reach for this? Well, here are your big signals. If you're bringing in software bots, playing with AI, or you're just getting started on your automation journey and you want a structured way to do it right, CPMIA is designed for you. It brings some much-needed order to what can be a pretty chaotic field. But, and this is a big but, it's not a magic wand. It's super important to know where it doesn't fit. CPMI is highly specialized. You're not going to use it to run a marketing campaign. You do need a bit of technical knowledge, and since it's newer, you won't find the huge online community that something like Scrum has. And, for a tiny, quick experiment, it might just be too much structure. All right, this brings us to our most flexible tool. And frankly, it's the one that more and more companies are starting to use. We're talking about the hybrid approach. This is where you get to be the architect of your very own process. The whole idea here is as simple as it is powerful.
Instead of trying to cram your project into a pure waterfall or pure agile box, you purposefully pick and choose the best parts from different frameworks. And the key word there is intentionally. This isn't about making things up as you go. It's about smart, deliberate design to build a process that actually works for your team and your project. And this isn't just a theory. People are actually doing this, and there are common patterns, like water, scrum, and fall, where you do all your big planning up front, classic waterfall style, but then you execute the work in flexible agile sprints, or agile with stage gates, which gives you that iterative workflow of agile but includes the formal review checkpoints that some stakeholders just have to have. These patterns prove you're not starting from zero. There are proven recipes out there you can tweak.
So the big question is, how do you actually pull this off? How do you go from these ideas to actually designing an approach that works for you?
Okay, so this is your roadmap. It's a 6-step guide to building your own system. First things first, you have to really understand your world, your project, your team, your company's vibe. Then you got to figure out what you can't change, the non-negotiables, like legal stuff or regulations. From there, you get to go shopping. You cherry pick the practices that actually solve your problems. And this is so important. Write it down, tell everyone the plan, and then, and this is key, try it out on a small project first. Don't go all in right away. Pilot it, see what works, and then just keep measuring and making it better and better. And that really brings us to the final question, the one I want to leave you with. As you look at your own work, your own projects, your own teams, stop asking which one methodology should we use. Instead, start asking what combination of tools, from Lean, from CPMI, from Agile, from Waterfall, is going to solve our unique challenge right here, right now. Because the answer to that question, that's where you're going to find your perfect fit.